Ba-ba-ba. What is up, guys? So, pretty much what we're gonna go over here is what I consider to be like pre-game analysis. Now, you want to be doing this during like champ select, but honestly, it really starts in the loading screen because that's when you get the full breadth of information of like the layout of the lanes and how things are going to go. Now, this is super important because if you don't go into pretty much like the first 5 minutes of the game, the first wave, the first trade, the way that you're going to position in the jungle, if they can invade, if they can invade, right, then you're already going to the game at a disadvantage. So let's talk about how like we look at this game and how everything else goes. Both of these champions, both looking for early game pressure and early game kills, both melee, both took electrocute, both took aggressive summoners. So, for example, if I was a jungler, this lane, these two people, it's very likely that there might be an early game kill here, right? That's something we should watch out for. Even pre 3 minutes before we finish our buffs, you might be able to do a transition gank by when you're going from, red buff to or top side to blue side or bot side to top side, either or. Transition ganking mid might give your mid laner the ability to pressure the wave just a little bit more, or pressure the enemy mid laner to get that cheesy free early kill, right? All dependent, especially with someone like Lee Sin and someone like Skarner, who at level 3 actually have the ability to gank and can be pretty deadly, depending on if these people have used their gap closes, right? Like if Zed's uses W, or I think it's Katarina's Shumpo is her teleport. I could be wrong there, but right, like if she's teleported and it's on cooldown and he's uses W, it's on cooldown, gankable lanes, right? Let's take a look at bot lane, right? We have a Leona and we have a Zeri, right? Now, here's the tricky thing is when you look at this matchup, you think, okay, she took Ghost and she took Heal. She took Ignite, he took Ignite. This lane is a little bit of a toss-up on who could win. Realistically, I think that the Nautilus and Kai'Sa have the better lane right now because he has two forms of CC level 1, right? And she has lethal tempo, so in the extended trade, I think that she'll put out more damage than the Zeri early. Plus, Kai'Sa has her passive that executes low health, right? Now, these are the things we take a look at because realistically, when we're looking at this lane, if we're a jungler, we're thinking about, okay, do I want a path towards bot? Is there good gank setup here? Do these lanes have CC? Now, both lanes have CC, so both lanes could potentially be gankable, right? Now, the other thing to think about as a jungler or as a bot laner is, do I win in the 1v1 here early? Do we win in the 2v2 here early? Do we win if we get level 2 advantage? Because level 2 advantage, while it does put you up in lane, doesn't necessarily mean that you're automatically going to be able to kill the opponent. In this matchup, for example, with me as GP and this guy as Pantheon, even if I get the level 2, the chances that I kill this Pantheon, unless he's super disrespectful, eats a ton of barrels, everything else, it's not likely that I'm going to be able to all-in him with Q and barrel and be able to kill him, especially if he takes, you know, if he's got a pot still up, in lane. So when we're looking at things like this, we look at like, let's look at the breakdown top lane. Okay, first strike. This guy's looking to poke. Okay, which is true. That is what I'm trying to do into this matchup. Okay, this guy didn't go press the attack. He's not going to be as deadly. He also didn't go as Ignite. Not going to be as deadly. But what that does tell me is if Pantheon's not going Ignite, how does this guy want to play the game? Well, he wants to get level 6. He wants to play like a Shen almost. He wants to get level 6. He's going to roam bot. He's going to roam mid. And then he's going to TP back top. Because he knows that he has priority in the lane because he beats me pretty much. He beats me primarily in this lane, I would say probably until I'm 13 at 2 items. Or until I'm 6. But it really depends on how the lane goes. I mean, this is a close matchup. But in levels like 1 through 3, or even 1 through 5, he probably 100% wins, right? So if I'm the jungler here, I'm not looking to path top at all. I'm leaving this GP completely alone because realistically, he has no CC to help me with the gank. It's less than likely that we kill the Pantheon because he's got E. And if we kill the Pantheon, it's not going to be worth as much because he can always TP back, right? So looking at this tells us like, okay, if I'm the jungler in this game, I probably want to path top to bot. Seems crazy, but if I do it, they're probably not going to expect it because most junglers just autopilot and path top, right? If I'm the mid laner, I want to communicate to my jungler that, like, hey, we could potentially look for an early kill on this Zed if he wastes his W. If I'm the jungler, I want to communicate to my bot lane in the beginning of the game, hey, I'm gonna path top to bot. So if you guys don't get level 2 and push advantage, it's okay because I'm gonna come down there. So if you can manage waves 1 through 5 and get it frozen under tower between waves, 3 and 5, and hold that freeze, I'll come down and we'll execute a gank, right? It seems crazy to be like, oh, well, I mean, that's so much micromanaging, that's so much this, that's so much that. A lot of people don't think for themselves, especially when you're playing in like plat or emerald or gold, right? And if you just approach it with like not a do what I say, I'm better than you, everybody's trash, blah blah blah, blah, right? No ego involved. It's very easy to get people to follow. I mean, in this game specifically, when I played this game, I told the Skarner, hey, don't come top. Don't come top. I don't have kill pressure on this guy. I'm just going to farm it out, and I'm going to play under tower. We probably won't have prio for Void Mites and or Scuttle. If this guy leaves, then I'm going to hard push, right? Like, I told him that. And Skarner never ganked me. And I'm perfectly okay with that because I want him to influence these other lanes, right? Because I will automatically scale so long as I don't die. And if Lee Sin comes up here, and so long as I have a ward that's keeping me from getting dove, then I'm wasting his time and opening up the map for my team, right? Now, it seems crazy to look at all of this and be like, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do this. But realistically, if you're looking from champ select onwards, right, in through loading screen, you've probably got a solid 5 to 6 minutes, right, where you can start thinking about this stuff and generate a game plan. Because the truth is if I push and the Pantheon lets me push, and I get level 2, and then I all in him, and I take an even trade, and then I get ganked, and I die, I can't blame my jungler for that. I should have looked at everything in the loading screen, and I should have realistically known that that wasn't an intelligent game plan. That wasn't a good plan. And if I didn't go into the game with a plan, that's also on me, right? So making this video just as kind of a something to be self-aware about and to really start paying attention to runes and summoners and start thinking about how your opponents want to play the game, right? Seeing this guy take TP instead of Ignite tells me exactly how this Pantheon wants to play. The fact that he didn't take press the attack tells me exactly how he wants to play the game. He's not trying to kill me in lane unless I play like an idiot. He's trying to influence the map for his team, right? And then I can look at this and I can go, okay, I assume that this guy took bone plating. And that means that I'm probably not going to win any trades against him early, right? These type of things, right? Seeing this and saying, hey, wait a second. This guy doesn't have, you know, this rune page on. So guess what? He doesn't have Hex Flash. That's a huge thing. If Nautilus has Hex Flash or not, you need to know, right? Vice versa, if Leona does have Hex Flash, you need to know if you're the Nautilus and the Kaisa, right? These are important things to pay attention to, you know? So I would recommend that, like, while you're in the loading screen, almost more important than champion mastery or reading the names or just kind of like autopiloting and going on your phone or watching a YouTube video or something, start thinking about what's your plan for the game, right? Make a plan and try and follow your plan. And if it doesn't work, great. Then think back and go, okay, why didn't that work? Was it me and my execution of the plan, or was the plan bad? For instance, when I look at this matchup, I know that I don't want to push into the Pantheon. Why do I know that? Because I've pushed into Pantheons before and I have gotten ganked with hard CC point and click and died and then had myself put in a freeze and then immediately lost the lane because I'm stuck in a freeze and I can't TP back top because the jungler's there and etc. And it just gets worse, right? So I made a plan to avoid that. So I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. I hope that this kind of opens up your eyes a little bit, makes you think of the game a little differently. Um, I definitely think when you're doing VOD reviews and when you're looking over your games and you're doing this kind of review, this is really really good stuff to focus on. It will help you a lot long term. So I hope that this helps you. Um, Good content for the strike team, and I will see you in the next one.